Welcome back to the MartiniWorks Podcast. We replaced Alex yet again because we just don't like having him on here, but we do like having Lars. Welcome back to the podcast. Season 3, baby. What do you think of that?
Alex smells. I'm better.
Exactly. Whoa. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm preaching.
Smells like diesel truck.
Yeah.
Lars, you've been working on the M5 recently, doing some stuff to that, huh?
Yeah, we have. Very excited to share it with you, everybody. We'll see that in Tennessee. We'll have the first post probably right around when we arrive.
Yeah.
Probably
when this goes up,
we'll be in
Tennessee.
We'll be there.
Yeah. Yeah. Very, very excited for that. It's been a little boring. I don't know. Does the podcast even know about the M5? Last time I was on, I still had the other car.
Did we talk? I thought we talked about it. Maybe not, though.
Maybe not.
Well, I forget. I forget. Anyway, the M2's gone. Rip. M5 is here.
She served her well.
Yeah, and M2 did a great job. M5 is here now, and yeah, we finally put some stuff on it. So very excited to share that.
She ain't stock no more.
No stock.
How is it compared? I mean, going from M2 M5, pretty different platforms.
Very different. Yeah. It's obviously a lot bigger, but the fun part is all the little toys and knickknacks and tech stuff that I didn't get in the M2.
Yeah, you were saying that you didn't get a lot of the comfort things
None
that
of
the
it.
M5 has.
Yeah, like no heads-up display, no adaptive suspension, very little in terms of screen real estate and any of that stuff. And of course, the M5 is everything. So getting used to having massaging, heated, cooled seats and stuff. Like
cooled seats are the best. They're my favorite
But
thing.
still no slouch.
No.
Oh my God.
That thing's a freaking freight train.
It's crazy. It's so fast. Yeah, it's truly like an insane car. Crazy engineering in there.
Yeah. Modifying it, is it been pretty straightforward, or is it? I know sometimes when you get into those bigger luxurious cars, things can get a little crazy.
It did pretty good, I would say. The exhaust was was a little tricky, but only because you're just working with less. Weirdly enough, less room overall because there's so much more stuff up in there.
Yeah.
But it's good. I don't think it's really much different. No.
Yeah, I was gonna say getting the exhaust off of it wasn't too shabby.
Yeah.
It is one solid piece though, from like the downpipes all the way back, one piece.
They just started doing that one year because I remember Maya's Civic Si was also one just solid piece. The Supra's is just one solid piece.
Yeah.
What am I supposed to do with that?
Yeah, what do you do once you take it out? I still have my Supra exhaust just like in my garage standing straight up, and I don't know what to do with it.
I don't even know how to get this home.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I know that it'll sit there for 3 months.
It's bigger than
because
any
we just
other
don't have
car
a
I
way to move it.
So, fun fact, when Maya had her Civic Si, it had a like Type R exhaust, or at least tip, booger welded to it, and it was the biggest hack job ever. And like just from driving, all of a sudden it fell one day. So now the exhaust like was bouncing. It was just being held on by like the one hanger. It wasn't like actually where it was supposed to be. So we're like, okay, this is ridiculous. I think we're gonna get rid of the car somewhat soon. Let's just put it back to stock. Put a stock exhaust back on it, call it a day, and then we'll get rid of the car. So we find one for sale, obviously super cheap because everyone just wants to get rid of them. But it was one solid piece. So we had my Jetta Sport Wagon at the time, and we folded all the seats down and put it from front to back, and it just fit. Just cleared. But while we were driving, hit a bump, and I was stupid, and I should have put a microfiber or something between the exhaust because it was literally touching the windshield to hatch.
Oh my!
And split the entire windshield.
Oh no!
So don't do that.
Yeah, don't
do that with that. Put it in a truck or something, or a semi.
Yeah, maybe rent a trailer.
It's so much exhaust because the M5 is such a big car. It's like 14, 15 feet of pipes. It's crazy. I've never seen that.
Yeah,
before.
and it's like it's basically a dual exhaust. It's just a massive system. We were trying to take it off because it's all like slip fitting. So we have all the hangers down. It's literally just on like the two down pipes, and like all the clamps and stuff are loose. Poor Steven is in the back holding up this like 200 pound exhaust, and it's just like trying to like shimmy and like pull the freaking exhaust off, and we're like trying to like wiggle it. And I just hear him. He's like, "Damn it! Oh my God!" He's like, "I need a break. He's like, "Holy shit!" And then like we get it done. We're like, "That wasn't so bad." He's like, "Yeah, maybe for you." He's like sweating. He's dying.
It's really bad.
I haven't checked on him. Dude, it was that bad. Yeah, it was terrible.
Yeah,
heavy.
Because the whole thing is only slip fitted like at the downpipes.
Yeah.
So everything else is one giant piece.
Yeah, so you're like,
We had to pull the whole thing at once.
yeah, there's so much like weird leverage to pinch it because you're working with, like Lars said, like 15 feet away from where it's joined.
I think that leads perfectly into our first subject.
Yeah, what's that?
What are the biggest mistakes when modifying your car?
Ooh.
This could be purchases. It could be working on it. It could be hiring someone to work on it. Maybe not hiring someone you should have. That's what I was going to say. I think one mistake people make is it can be easy to get in over your head. I really want to advocate for like do it yourself, learn. But there are some times I think where it's either better to have a friend that knows it, has done it before, and can help you along the way, or just taking it somewhere to be done. Because, you know, especially too, if it's not like your first car that's a beater that was $3,000 and you're maybe modifying something that was $16,000, $20,000, $30,000, you don't want to permanently mess that up.
Right.
So I don't think you need to be shamed if there's something you're doing, you have no idea, you've never done it before, either taking it somewhere or reaching out for help and getting help to do it.
Yeah, I totally agree. Like that exhaust, we would not have been able to put it back in without Steven around to help, and Dustin and Alex, of course. Like it was, it in theory, it's just a bunch of steel pipe Legos. But in practice, oh my God, it was such a thing. Like we had to use tools. We had to use a pipe expander tool. I didn't know those tools existed until one of them brought it up. We had to go rent one from AutoZone and stuff. Like
Really?
yeah, because it didn't fit perfectly. It was just enough where you could kind of sort of wedge it on.
Sure.
But like
it needed a little bit more.
Yeah, it needed some help, and then like got wedged in place where we didn't want it to sit finally. So yeah, like I 100% agree. Get the help, whether that's a shop or just a friend, a tool.
And kind of off that too, one thing that I've just found over the years is like something like that where it's like, well, if it was just a little bit bigger, it's like, yes, if it was just a little bit bigger, it'd make it way easier. Yes, it's going to take you 5 minutes to run to the store and go rent the right tool that you need to get it done. But guess what? It's going to save you an hour or hours of fucking around with it.
Yeah.
Trying to do it some other way because you don't want to just go run down the road. That is something that I've just realized like in the last like few years or so. It's like if you don't have the right tool to do the job that you're doing, just go get it.
100%.
Like, you're gonna either break something, you're gonna mess something up, you're gonna damage something, or you're just gonna spend 3 times the amount of time trying to do it the easier way. Before or rather than just going and getting the tool that you need. And yeah, the rental stuff is great. I definitely utilize those. It's the only really thing I like going to parts stores for anymore is just renting their tools.
Yeah.
I have one. I'll speak on Alex for his behalf since he's not here. I would say over modifying your car, and this could go multiple reasons. But for example, like let's say Alex had the S2K, right, and that had a fully built engine, big turbo, all this stuff. And I'm not saying it for the fact that no longer has an engine in it, but I'm saying it now. He went to race it and he realized, holy shit, I'm in like this unlimited class because I have no mods. So now you're racing like supercars, that just insane builds with your S2K. That's, you know, so it also leads to if you have a car that you need to daily drive, but you're still modifying it, totally doable. 100% should do it always, but you can overdo it really quick. I've done it multiple times where I've modified my car so much it gets to the point where like I don't want to drive it because like I don't want it to get dirty. I don't want something to go wrong. I don't want, it's just not comfortable. Like when I had all my seats torn out, aftermarket seats, harnesses, I was like, it was just a chore to get in and drive.
You're not looking forward to it anymore.
And then forget driving like 8 hours to a show or something. Oh my God, completely ruined it. So when you do your mods, really think about them, think about the longevity of them, and like, is it cool for photos or is it actually going to be dope and make it perform better? And don't get me wrong either. I'm cool with like cosmetic mods and making things, you know, look good. Just don't have it inhibit your experience with the car, so you don't want to drive it anymore.
Absolutely, especially if it is like, you know, your only car.
I think on that note, I would say investing in the wrong car.
Yeah.
Right? Like your first car might be like a base model or something, and you hear it all the time where they're like, we're gonna swap the better engine into it.
Yeah.
Right? It's like just sell the car and get that engine, like, get the car with that engine already in it, right? And then work off that platform.
I lived through that too, and I was the one where I was like, oh no, I'm gonna do that, and I never did it.
Yeah.
But it's like when I had my Eclipse, it was the GS, it was a 420A, it was a Chrysler engine. It wasn't the cool Eclipse, but you know, it was a thing where it's like, hey, I got the car. It was like my first like real car that I was like doing stuff to, and I was working with what I had. It was, you know, the car kind of fell in my lap, and I was like very proud of that car. We like put the new engine in it, but it was just like, oh, I'm gonna 4G63 swap it. We're gonna do all this stuff, and everyone's just like, don't, just literally sell it and go buy a GST or a GSX. Like, just don't. And I was like, no. I'm gonna do it.
To hear that, right? When
Yeah,
you're so
it sucks to hear. It really sucks to hear.
But somebody knows better.
Yeah,
And it's not impossible, but in most cases, it's just better off to go get.
But if it really is worth it to you, if the car does have a lot of sentimental value, I get it.
Yeah,
I totally understand.
like I said, yeah. There's
Financially,
circumstances.
financially, it makes more sense just to sell it and go get the other one.
Yeah, 100%. And things always come up, and yeah, it gets wild. You guys have been doing a lot of help with wrapping some stuff around here, and Giles, I know you've wrapped your car in the past. Is there any mistakes people make when getting into wrapping a vehicle? It seems like that's so popular nowadays to do some sort of vinyl on your car.
Yeah. I'd say if you've ever thought about it, try it. It is a very eye-opening thing. All the TikToks and stuff that you see, they make it look super easy. I promise you. Oh, the panel's super flat. It's gonna be really easy. It's not gonna be easy. It's gonna test your patience. It's gonna make you freaking cuss and swear and wish you never started this because now you're halfway through the car and you have $800 worth of material.
You're really selling them
finish
on
it
it
now. No, but it's I'd say the biggest mistake one definitely is going with like a poor quality like material. I know there's a lot of those like crazy flashy colors and wraps out there. Like they look really cool, but more times than not, those are like the biggest pain in the ass ones to work with. Sure. Like any of those like chrome or like really like heavy like metal flake ones. Like typically those are the hardest ones to work with. I don't know why that is.
So,
it just seems to be how it is.
Yeah, I was gonna say like so color can affect how the vinyl
because
is?
like think of like how that material is actually made and how it like got that color. A lot of it has like, maybe it has like a foil or something in it. It's just like I've heard and have seen and have worked with just like material like that where it's like you just go like a matte black or like a satin material or like the gloss blue that I did in the RX-8. It was super forgiving. It was a really basic color, but the material handled really well.
So is there like an industry standard? Like what is the vinyl to go with? Is it 3M or?
I mean, 3M's up there. Avery is what I did the RX-8 with, and that was honestly very forgiving. It was like it'd bunch up, you just hit it with some heat, and it went back to normal. And like that was like folding over on itself and getting stuck together, and it was like I was able to still like pull it away and rework it quite a bit. I think this is KPMF.
Yeah, that's I was trying to remember the brand
I think it's okay.
It seems to do all right.
It seems to do okay. I think the Avery had a better air release system in it, though. Like I could work bubbles out a lot easier and wrinkles out a lot easier with the Avery than this stuff.
It's interesting you say that because I guess I never thought about it, but the half wrap I had on the M2, which was all printed, design and stuff, it did come off and it went on very differently than any of the full wraps I've ever seen.
I didn't realize that.
It was a whole different texture.
I had no idea.
I would also say don't be afraid to do things in multiple pieces. Like just you feel really good if you can wrap a thing in one piece, but inlays are freaking lifesavers, especially like around like bumpers and stuff like that. Like things like need to get tucked in there. You're putting a lot of stress on the material. Odds are if you're pulling it and all this kind of stuff, you really have to like stretch it in there. It might lift at some point. Every wrap I've seen is going to lift at some point. Yeah. Unless you're just like an insane professional installer and you're paying like $6-7 grand to get your car wrapped. Other than that, keep things clean. Like the saying for paint, like 90% of it goes into the prep. It's the same for wrap, honestly, too. It's like any little dirt or speck or blemish in the clear coat will show immediately through the wrap. It's like a whole like Princess and the Pea thing. It's like you will see it and you will 100% notice it, even if it's just the tiniest little thing. You think you wouldn't because the wrap is like a thick material. Dude, it's crazy how much shows through.
I mean, no, 100%. That makes sense, right? Because you've seen those like inlays where it looks like it's embossed on the inside. That's just a sticker on the paint.
It's literally
and
just
you
one
wrap over
layer
a
of that,
sticker.
and it sticks out crazy. So it's like, dude, imagine just like a little like piece of dirt or like rock or something in there. And dude, just take extra time to clean everything. Even like if you're taking something off, like we had to take this entire thing apart to do it. The inside, like cleaning the inside of the flares, because like you're going to be handling it, you're going to be working around it. Dirt's going to fall off. It's going to fall into the wrap. It's going to get in there.
Your working area is going to be
like
nasty.
Clean everything.
What do you clean the car with? Because obviously I know you don't want to use like a spray wax or anything like that.
You obviously want to like remove anything that would inhibit the wrap from sticking.
So like how do you bring it down to bare paint?
So when I did the RX-8, I clay barred the entire car beforehand, and then like before I hit the panel, I just sprayed it with like an isopropyl alcohol mix.
Oh, really? Okay.
And then just wiped it down really clean. Got it super dry, no wax, no residue on it, and then just did it.
How did you know your paint was gonna be able to handle it? Like the on and off.
I didn't.
Send it?
I just kind of sent it, and it did happen too. And it wasn't even necessarily. It was like the side skirts that I got. I was like, it has like a primer on it, so I just kind of like prepped that. Well, the primer started pulling away because it was just like some cheap primer on it. So it's like that is a thing to deal with too. If your clear coat's maybe not the best, if like you have some stuff that was maybe repainted at one point, like the high possibility that it could lift that off if you're working on it too. So
I've seen that. I've seen even people like that have done like liveries on their car, like not full rep, like they put numbers and stuff, and then they went and they didn't realize that there's maybe a previous paint job or a touch up, and all of a sudden, whoop, paint chip off. So it's kind of crazy to think about. So be careful. Rep can be not as forgiving as you think it is. You know, a lot goes into it, and then cutting it.
Odds are, if you have like a newer vehicle, you're fine.
Right.
But yeah, if you have like an older car, like you said, maybe it's been had some like damage repaired or like clear coat retouched up or something, like just be careful with it and use a lot of heat. Just use heat.
That's what I was gonna say.
It's a lifesaver.
Taking the wrap off, I did take the livery off the M2 before trading it in, and it was scary. I definitely should have used more heat on it. It makes weird noises when the wrap pulls and stuff.
I got a tip. Don't use too much heat though.
Yeah, don't do that.
It's like I was doing a TikTok live once, and I was replacing my front reflectors because they're orange on the Supra, and I PPF on the car, and I was using heat, and I was like sitting there reading comments for a second. I look, I'm like, oh my god, my PPF started to melt. So like now you can kind of see it, like in the right light, you can see kind of like the wave and bubbles where it was.
Oh no,
pissed me off so bad. I left it for like, I don't know, three seconds longer probably than I should have. So just be careful too. It's your best friend and your worst friend at the same time.
With wrap too, it's like it literally happened. We were doing it's like you use heat, it makes it like stretch a lot more and releases a lot of that tension. But when it burns through quick. Yeah, it's like all that tension will pull that away. So it's like, you're just like, oh yeah, it's good. You're talking to someone, chilling, all of a sudden just like just the whole piece is gone. It's like, oh my god.
I have another mistake.
Yeah, what
people make when working on their cars.
What's that?
Don't start the mod you're installing at Sunday at 8 p.m.
Yeah.
Don't do it.
No matter how.
I don't care if it says it's going to take an hour, 3 hours, and you know you can get it done. Don't, because everything changes when that one bolt snaps or that one thing won't come off or something is cross-threaded, and then it turns into a multiple day thing. Now you're staying up till 4 a.m. and you got to work in 3 hours.
And take the car that's in pieces.
Yeah, your car is in pieces. You're frantically trying to slap shit. I have learned that the hard way. Give yourself plenty of time to get it done, or have a backup in case things don't go properly, because there's been so many times super late working on the car. I remember my friends literally falling asleep on the garage floor.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
I'm so glad you're saying that, because of that box right there.
Yeah,
I'm not touching it until we get back.
That's a good idea. I know you want to. Like,
oh my god.
we leave in 2 days. Yeah, I mean, you got time, totally, right?
God. No, we do, but no.
What's in that box?
Springs.
Oh,
but it's like the cool springs.
Cool
it's like a
KW.
coilover conversion thing.
Are you going to be able to keep your adaptive suspension with that?
Sir, KW Haas.
So basically
$1 billion.
Yeah, I mean, talk about that too. I guess like that essentially turns your stock struts into a coilover system.
Yeah, so
interesting.
While we had the exhaust part, we looked at it a little bit. And like on the M5, unlike the other BMWs I've ever worked on, it's a true coilover front and rear. So we're gonna have to like take the whole thing apart, put that kit on there, and then it'll be height adjustable like aftermarket coilover.
I'm interested to see, because I've seen more and more of those coming out, since pretty much every car comes with some sort of like adaptive suspension nowadays, and people like it. I like it.
So you retain all your factory strut, and you're just replacing the spring.
Yeah, you're essentially just changing the middle spring portion. So it's like a lowering spring, but it has like a threaded portion to it.
Yeah,
weird.
Yeah. So then, all like you're saying, all the adaptive suspension will still work. The car should feel stock in terms of ride quality.
Right.
But it'll be
probably a little stiffer.
2 to 0.8 inches lower.
Sure.
Front and rear. So very excited for that. It's been a while. Obviously, the M3's on BC Racing DS Series coilovers. Yep. So I'm curious to see what the M5 will feel like on springs. I've never had springs in the car before.
I think you'll really like it. I think and especially keeping all like the factory stuff too, because it's like, dude,
That's what I really wanted.
like the factory suspension on a lot of these cars is still super good. I know it's weird to hear me say, but it's like, dude, it is really good.
All the time that they put into that and the engineering, and then you rip it out to dump her on her nuts.
And I'll be driving it across, like I'm driving it to Tennessee, and I'll be driving it to Tennessee again. You know,
You drive your cars everywhere.
Yeah, and
so,
the last thing I want is something to be bouncing up and down the highway, you know, for 12 hours straight. So
no, I think it'll be good.
Very excited for that one.
Yeah, that's the
It's
thing.
like the gold standard for what that platform is for sure.
100%. Which leads me to one of our sponsors, the MartiniWorks Podcast. They make fantastic suspension.
Yeah, who's that?
And it feels like you're riding stock. Fortunato, baby. Got him on the Supra, and I've driven that thing to Tennessee I don't know how many times. And I've never thought once while driving it, like, oh, I wish I hadn't put these coilovers in. Nope. They feel fantastic. And that's why I vouch for Fortunato so much, is because the feel that it gives your car and the adjustability. You get all of it, and there's like no cons other than maybe it's a little more expensive than your other cheaper options. But there's a reason for that. It rides better. And I can confidently say that because I've had quite a different set of coilovers in my time. You know what I'm saying? So 500's phenomenal. That's their entry level, but they'll do everything you need to for your daily driver, spirited driving car. But they do have stuff to upgrade to if you're a track rat and you want to go 510s. And they're fully rebuildable. You can do that too. You can upgrade to Swift Springs. Fortunato is fully customizable. Hell, even if you want to get real specific with it, you can reach out, or you can have us reach out to Fortunato, and we can dial it into exactly what you need to do. So a huge shout out and thank you to Fortunato for being a sponsor of the MartiniWorks Podcast.
It's getting nice outside. Well, kind of. It was like 80 degrees on Friday, and then it like snowed 2 days later. Now it's like 30, and then we have like a snowstorm. Anyway, hopefully track days are starting up again soon. Yeah?
Yeah, they are actually. Yeah. A little early in my book, but
okay,
they're getting out there.
So, you got any signed up for yet? Are you looking at signing up for any?
I think there's one we're doing in April.
Oh, that is real soon.
Real soon. And then there's the one where we shook down the GTT last year. With that group, we're back again in May, early May. Yeah,
Gotcha.
So there's a couple coming up.
And you looking at taking the M3 or the M5?
Oh wow.
So I think it'll have to be the M5. The M3 is still a little down for the count. The battery's dead, wheel bearing, and so on. We're going to try to get it fixed. I'd like to take it, but I also really want to take the M5 out.
I want you to take the M5 too. I want to see what you think of that.
Gotcha.
Yeah, especially because that one club we ran with allowed passengers.
Oh, yeah.
I just think it'd be so fun to do 600 horsepower pulls down the main straight with a passenger.
At Road America?
Three passengers.
It would be
3 passengers. We'll do ring taxis, Road America style.
So, hypothetical for you. Track day signed up. M3 down for the count, right? M5 doesn't exist in this universe. Okay. You got 10 grand.
10 grand.
You go buy a new track car for the weekend. What you getting?
Oh man, that's tough. I think I don't know what the prices are at nowadays on these, but I would be torn between E36 M3 and C5 Corvette.
I knew a BMW was going to be an option. I wasn't expecting the Corvette.
Yeah, I think the Corvettes are really, really good platforms. I think they don't need the horsepower they have, but they're lightweight. The suspension's good from factory. You don't have to do much. They really need better brakes. That's their big weakness.
Sure, especially the earlier ones, yeah.
Yeah, but otherwise, and I would even go as far as saying just pads and fluid. You'll be fine. Good tires and send it. But yeah, I think they're great. They've been getting increasingly popular.
Yeah, I was going to say, every time we go, I see just more and more at the track.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy.
Yeah. And for a while there was the C6s, but for whatever reason, I think they make way too much power for 90% of tracks in this country. And maybe that's why, but they've been getting less popular in my experience at least. And the C5s are kind of taking that step. And I think for like budget friendliness, you really can't beat them. They're you get so much car for the money, and then again, it's a great platform to start from.
Yeah. And it can be like somewhat competitive.
Yeah, very competitive. I mean, Grid Life is full of them. Like they're
everywhere.
Every other car is either a K-swapped something or a Corvette.
Yeah,
and again, those guys are just doing aero and suspension really.
Dakota, what do you got?
I think if you want to get the most seat time, from what I've seen from just hanging out at the track with you guys and going places, is there's just an absolute cult following for Honda Fits.
Dude, they're everywhere, and I love it.
That's a great choice.
And I think it's just because it's so reliable, cheap to get into, cheap to keep running, and predictable. You know, when you're driving it, you know exactly what it's going to do. And I think you can get to that threshold pretty quickly of like, I'm at the limits of this car rather than having too much car for your limits.
100%.
So I think that's a great option. And every person I've talked to that has one or raced one, they don't shut up about it. So it's got to be good. They love it. I've never heard someone talk negatively about their Honda Fit.
We've talked about budget friendliness and how this hobby gets. And I'll say being able to get, you know, a 165, 40, 17 tire is a nice thing.
Yeah.
That's where you see
it just keeps everything cheap. It's like the brakes are cheap, the tires are cheap.
Yeah.
Wheels, you're going with like probably like 16-inch wheels, like cheap. Like you can get like a set of like 16-inch Koenigs for hella cheap.
That's
and
true.
you're getting
I've never been able to buy 16-inch wheels. It must be so nice to get a whole set for like fucking $800.
Yeah, it's insane. No, I agree. Every time we've gone, whether it be like VIR or Road America, here it is. It's just like the Fit crew, and they are just whipping out there, and they're having the time of their life.
I know our buddy Steve that we used to work with. He had a Honda, and he drove the hell out of it across the country multiple times, tons of road trips.
It.
Yeah, and then he
and then the engine blew up, and he's like, "I'm gonna swap another engine into it because I love this car so much."
And it was cheap. It was, I think he spent $500.
Yeah,
it was nothing.
Yeah.
So I that's my option. I would say like though for like autocross, if we were getting more into that side rather than tracking, I don't know. I'd want something turbo. Just because I had so much fun, like with my Focus ST when I brought that to autocross, it was like that's where everything clicked, and I was like, "Oh, that's okay. This is what this car does. That makes sense now." But so something turbo, maybe a Fiesta too. That would probably be a little bit cheaper than a Focus. Getting one at 10K would be kind of a stretch, but
I guess 10K that is a pretty tight budget considering everything nowadays. But I mean, just budget friendly in general. Yeah, if you can find something just small, turbocharged.
Lars, what do you think about? And I know this is a case-by-case basis, so it's hard to answer, but would you consider a salvage title vehicle to get for the track?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, 100%. As long as the whatever damage happened is not, not impacting the safety proportions of the car, like the seatbelts work, your seat's still mounted properly, obviously the suspension's straight and so on, I'll go crazy. If it's like your bumper's falling off, when I was shopping for a dedicated track car, before I got the M3, I was looking at salvaged 128Is, which is another pick I would throw in there because you can get those for like $4,000 now.
Yeah, if you're cool with a salvage title, that opens up your lot quite a bit.
100%.
All the time I'm scrolling through Marketplace, I'm like, whoa, that's cheap. Oh, salvage title.
Especially anything you're gonna compete with, like wheel to wheel, like the Lemons type stuff or Grid Life, Time Attack or whatever. You're gonna bang it up anyway.
Yeah.
Salvage titles are thing. I got the car for you because they are just everywhere.
Ferrari F430.
Nissans.
Oh.
Nissans.
Either a 350 or 370Z. For some reason,
they're
they're
all
all rebuilt or salvage title. I don't know why, but they are. Maybe it's because they're a budget-friendly rear-wheel drive car with actually a decent amount of horsepower. That it is, popular among the younger crew.
Yeah,
probably why that they're all salvage title. But I think those cars are fantastic too. For that, you're getting a small, balanced car. Decent amount of horsepower. It's naturally aspirated, which I love. So you're not
Sold.
Typically reliability issues and things like that, you're not going to be worrying about a ton. And I think, you're getting the rear wheel drive out of it too. So if you want to like learn that and like how to handle that, it's a great platform. You can do pretty much any type of motorsport with it because of that. Then
tons of space for tires too.
Yeah.
They have huge wheel fitments on those.
And I think there's a good platform. Outside of that, I'm going to say it again, Mazda RX-8. See him at the track all the time now.
You do.
Actually,
it's been crazy, the glow up of every time we go to the track, we see multiple RX-8s
it was
running.
almost a gag at first, but like they're getting out there now.
It's consistent.
Yeah, it was super cool because we went to VIR for the first time, and I was just like losing my mind. There was like 3 or 4 of them there, which doesn't sound like a ton, but like the fact that you just never see RX-8s in general, and then they just all found their way to the track somehow.
Right.
I was losing my mind. I was like, that's so sick, and they were having a ton of fun out there. Now, Ben from Gears and Gasoline, he bought that R3 that they did like the whole like barn find like series on. He's turning that into like his track car now, doing a bunch of stuff with that. So like, it's super cool to see.
I know Brent over here starting to get into tracking some stuff. What's your guys' thoughts on tracking a Hyundai Genesis?
It's actually not the platform I'm going with.
Oh, are you building
he hates
something
it.
else?
No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, wait, we don't got to unveil it. Sorry, I didn't know I was. You posted your thing where you started your motorsports. You showed the Genesis, so I assume that's what you were going to start.
So there's plans with the Genesis.
Okay.
I won't talk about it. I won't be about it.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
just like
Yeah.
let that sit for a little bit. But I will say I do plan on getting a B5 A4.
Damn, Trapper got you, huh?
It's a weird. I know it's kind of a weird car to go for a track car, especially a first build. And I realize that it's going to be like maybe I'll have some hiccups here and there. But overall, it's the best choice for me because I'm so close with a lot of people who are really good with A4s. Like,
I mean, yeah.
our previous podcast.
Yeah, use what you
guys,
got, yeah.
He's a good buddy of mine, and he'll be able to help me out a lot.
Yeah, you got
Like,
the resources for it. You got the knowledge for it.
Right.
I mean, you've been around those platforms for a while, so.
That's
100%.
super important, right? We were talking about investing in the right tooling and friends and stuff like that. With a track car, it's literally the same thing, if not exaggerated. If you don't know how to fix your track car, you're not going to the track.
Yeah, 100%.
So, yeah,
stuff happens.
That's why I don't know how to fix wheel bearings. That's why M3's dead.
I will throw another one in there too. I know we're trying to like stick to 10 grand, but if you found one some like miles on, or maybe like a salvage title one, I think like the first gen FRS's BRZs.
Yeah.
I think they're a super solid option too. Again, not the fastest, but it's like a Miata that you can actually fit into, at least if you're me.
And I think that a lot of people expected that was a Miata would probably be the
100%.
answer. And I think it is a good option.
It's always
too,
the
but
answer.
Yeah. I remember the first time I rode in a boosted Miata at Autocross, and it was gnarly. So there's a lot of potential with those platforms too. But honestly, I feel like those Miatas are starting to go up. But you could get the I get the nomenclature messed up all the time with NA, NB, and C, and all that. The non-pop-up headlight Miata, you can get pretty dang
NBs,
cheap.
yeah.
Yeah.
And that'll be a great car for you.
They're good, but we get this. Obviously, everybody talks about them all the time for a reason. They're a phenomenal platform, but they're when you're dealing with a budget instead of like by regulations, have fun with it. Like get what you like.
Right.
And me personally, I don't want to race 180 horsepower. Like it's not my thing, especially because our home track where I spend all my time has 3 different mile-long straights.
Yeah.
Road America is a different beast.
If
pretty
we
big.
were closer to Black Hawk Farms or Audubon or something, right? Totally different animal. I would not even consider taking the M5 there. Don't get me wrong. You can drive anything anywhere, but get what you're comfortable with, get what you can work on, and what your friends like.
Yeah, because a good tip is thinking about your home track and what suits that well too.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I even remember when Alex like brought like the S2000 out on like Road America. He's like, dude, the gearing feels weird. He's like the car is got a crazy like K24 big turbo wide body car. Like this should be the car for this track, right? And he's like, the gearing feels weird. He's like I can't. He's like, I get on the straights and I have the horsepower, but the gearing is just so weird that like I'm just getting blown by on these straights. And even when we brought the GTT there, it was kind of the same thing. It's like fantastic in the corners and like felt really, really good. And then on the straights, it's just whoa!
Wide open and getting past.
You got freaking, Porsches just blowing by you at like
Gearing too
160 mile an hour. Yeah, it's like the gearing like is just a little too short. And it's like the GTT is like 5-speed too. So it's like, and it was overheating a lot.
Yeah,
A lot of these cars, they just kind of fall on their face at the end of the straights.
Yeah.
And especially, again, Road America specifically, you're going uphill for some of them. So, like, the M3 has an aftermarket diff in it with a different gear ratio. It's the same thing. It feels great in the streets, canyon, spirited driving and stuff. But towards the end of those straights, it just falls on its face. There's nothing left.
Yeah.
But you can still have fun with slow
still
cars.
play.
You don't got to get an 800 horsepower car to
I
have
would
fun.
encourage you not to.
Yeah, definitely not. It's surprising, like those lower horsepower cars, how much fun you can have. It's like I compare it all in my mind all the time. Like when I'm driving the Supra, I absolutely love the Supra, but I don't know if I necessarily like driving it more than I like driving a Honda S2000. And those are two very different platforms. One's NA 4-cylinder, and then you got a turbo 6. And I have just as much fun driving both, and I would own a S2K in a heartbeat. So don't think you got to spend the most or have the most horsepower to have fun. It's probably a better situation to start lower horsepower and work your way up.
100%.
And ultimately on the street, you can only go so fast, safely and legal and everything. So, what are you going to have the most fun with on that on-ramp that's on your way to work every morning? Think about that, and especially if you're going to drive it, more frequently than just a specific track car.
Right.
100%. Is there any cars you'd specifically stay away from, Lars? Is there anything you've seen that's been not
I
good?
can't say the one I was going to say because
Uh-oh. Is it the Audi or the Genesis?
The Audi.
Oh! God,
And I gotta know why.
Brent's shaking in his boots.
So we see on the again, Road America is an odd case, right? Because it's so high horsepower track, but everything. We see Audis. I've seen Audis break out there specifically, and I would say Subarus. I know it's become a running gag with that too, but they just don't seem to perform or not consistently at least. So like, don't get me wrong, they're great cars. I love that people love them. In this particular example, I think there's a reason you see more, BMWs, Porsches, Mustangs, Corvettes.
A lot of Mustangs too.
Yeah.
Mustangs.
But again, build your car for that purpose. It'll be fine. Get the right resources behind it. Shore up the weaknesses before trying to make it powerful. Things like that. You just have to approach it differently if you're gonna go race it, compete with it, especially.
Are those Audis that are breaking down, are they S4s or are they A4s? Because I know the 2.7 usually has a little bit more issues than the 1.8.
It's typically the timing stuff, heat stuff, and then with those types of cars, it's usually like oil issues, right? Like things get starved. So even like the base model BMWs and stuff, we've seen engines blow up at Road America because the rod bearings get starved of oil.
Damn.
So again, I don't want to scare anybody off of doing it. I don't scare you from doing this project that you're excited about. Yeah. Just make sure you get that stuff taken care of. You'll be fine.
Just like really focus on oiling and cooling.
Cooling is super important. Yeah, the safety stuff most important always. Then make sure your engine stays cool, right, in operating temperatures. Then worry about performance and speed.
Yeah, I've never realized how important cooling was. I know it's a weird thing to say, but dude, it's like I see it come up more and more and more. I mean, the GTT, for instance, I was like, dude, he's like, all power, just gone. He's like, and then I can't push it. He's like, it needs to cool down. It's like,
even when you guys are drifting.
Yeah, even drifting. So that one made sense to me because it's like, you're not getting a ton of air through the system, but it's like, dude, Road America's like, he's hauling ass down a straight. Like, there's a lot of air.
About as much air as you can get.
A lot of air coming through there. I can't believe it's overheating. And sure enough, that cooling system just is old, not made for that.
You're full throttle for a solid 35 seconds at some cases. So
so
you just don't think about it.
Yeah, to like stay up to date on that and give your car the best chance, what do you recommend? Upgrading your radiator and stuff? Aftermarket radiator?
A lot of it honestly, depending on the car, of course, is just maintenance. Making sure your coolant's flush, there's no air bubbles in there, nothing's leaking, right? Don't leak on a track. That's not cool.
That's naughty.
I'm out.
Yeah. And then with the M3, right? Dustin and I think Gels and I, we did the entire cooling system just because it's 20 years old, and I'd want to make sure nothing was going to break. So
yeah, I know for like the GTT 2, it's just such a thin radiator. Yeah. So there's not a lot going through it to like keep up with the temps and stuff like that. And I think just that whole front air dam system is just kind of whack. Like, it's just not the best.
Leaves out of there, like the little sticks and branches and stuff that gather in there. That'll make a big difference. If all your fins are dented and stuff. But yeah, we went with a triple stage like bypass CSF, thing. I don't even know what it is.
Holy shit!
But it's like the ridiculous endurance racing version, just because I never wanted to deal with it again.
Right.
And now I shouldn't have to in the time that I own.
I would hope not. My God.
Yeah.
Yeah, cars don't like heat.
No.
They don't like getting too hot.
Heat bad.
Real bad.
Cool good.
So make sure your gauges work too.
Yeah.
Oil cooler. Yeah, we put that on the GTT, right?
Yeah, we did. We did the oil cooler because that was a thing recommended from Driver. They're like, definitely, if you plan on doing like any sort of motorsport with this, get an oil cooler. So we got the Gretty one, did that. Relocated the filter too.
That was a fashion thing for a little bit for cars.
Yeah.
A lot of people were doing like external mounted oil coolers on their front bumpers.
I like the Gretty one that we did because it kind of just peeks up right through the bumper a little bit.
It stands out.
It looks really cool.
Just a touch. It was kind of neat. Is there any other mods that you'd recommend? I know like sometimes you want to keep your car pretty stock, but brakes you were saying is a big one.
I think I might have one, and I want to see if you agree.
Yeah.
Like if you ever are going into like opening up your engine at all, oil baffling is probably a good one, especially for like Subarus and stuff. Like
I hear about that all the time.
You don't want all that oil sloshing to one side.
Yeah, some pumps, all that kind of stuff. And a lot of it's going to be platform specific, so do your research like you're saying. But if you have a buddy that knows that platform and says you need that, get it. trust that person. He's seen them blow up. Just do it.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, baffled oil pans I always hear about with Subarus.
Definitely. Because you just need to keep the oil where it needs to be and get it back to where it needs to be.
Maintenance and preventative maintenance probably your best friend when doing
sounds
track
so
stuff.
boring,
It
but
is
it
boring.
really is.
It is boring.
Sorry to keep making this dull, but
It's like, believe it or not, a lot of these cars handle pretty good and drive really good from factory. It's just that they're 20 years old and things need to be replaced and fixed, and your brake pads are probably shot and aren't going to last, 2 laps on stock brake pads. So get some good brake pads. I think that's the biggest thing too that I've realized is that just how much of a difference a good set of brake pads can make. And not even like rotors or like big brake calipers or anything like that. It's just get a good set of pads.
oh, it's crazy. I have the RBX, the EBC RPX pads on the M3 with stock rotors, the small little brakes that it comes with and everything. And it performs better than the giant brakes I had on the M2.
Yeah.
They're so good.
I think everyone always thinks about going as fast as you can at the track, but in reality, you're putting all of your trust into the brakes on the car.
Dude,
probably over everything else
You
almost.
don't want those going.
And yeah, if you have doubt in your brakes, you ain't going fast. You ain't going nowhere.
Remember the last time you had the nightmare of trying to slow down in a car and you're trying to brake, but you can't brake because you're in your sleep?
Are you okay, Joe?
I have that nightmare.
I have that nightmare way too often.
I don't have that nightmare.
When I was learning to drive, I had that nightmare.
Have you never had that?
No, what the fuck?
Were you driving and you're dreaming you're driving, and you go to step on the brakes and nothing's happening?
Or the brake pedal's too far away and you're
Yeah.
you can't get it.
Are you
all
guys
the way.
all right? We gotta get into this a little deeper. Yeah, we gotta figure out what's going on. Something deep is going on here. I have not had that dream though.
All right.
That's why I was afraid of the M5 for so long, because it's so fast. I was afraid I couldn't stop it.
Dude, and yeah, that was one thing too when I did autocross that I didn't realize is you are using every bit of those brakes. You are slamming on this.
Yeah.
You are hitting
You're
them
going
brakes.
40 miles an hour, but
You gotta stop, bro.
You gotta come to
It's
5
just
miles an hour. Yeah.
Compared to daily driving, when you're driving, you never ever use your brakes like
Yeah.
that unless there's an emergency, I guess. But you're never using it, so you go. It feels different.
Dude,
so you gotta have 100% confidence in those
Dude,
brakes.
it's wild because I remember I did my first ever quote unquote track day. It was one of those track experience things. Where you can go drive supercars or whatever. So they did half of Road America, and I did it in a Huracan. It was 5 laps or something like that. And they give you a little quote unquote ground schooling track course beforehand. So you go in, you go sit through this thing. Here's the layout we're going to be doing. Here's, if you've never driven a performance car like this before, here's what you should know, that kind of stuff. And then they set you up with an instructor just to kind of go over the car beforehand. And I remember the guy, my instructor, he raced Cut Miatas.
Yep.
And so he was I know this is going to sound weird. He's you put your foot on that dead pedal, push yourself as far back into the seat as you can. And he's when you brake, brake all the way, force that pedal to the floor. I'm this car got some pretty big brakes on it. And he's all right, so we're gonna go for a test lap beforehand, just so you can understand how it's gonna feel, because there's gonna be a lot of G forces. I was okay, I had an idea, dude. Out of turn 1 into Road America, I almost went through the fucking windshield. I did he's yeah, it's gonna be aggressive. I was oh, okay, and I was oh my god, they don't fuck around with that. You are slamming your foot to the floor.
It's crazy. I mean, we see this when we bring the sim rigs to the shows all the time. That's the number one mistake people make, is they
Braking.
just don't use the brakes.
Dude, it's actually funny too when we bring the sim rigs how confident people are, and then they get on and they are just crashing left and right and left. And right.
Funniest thing to me, I've instructed at Road America now, right? And I'm use the brakes, brake here, brake now, harder. And they're and they're so confidently think they know better. I promise you need brakes here. The car's not gonna just
You
go.
gotta slow down to go fast. You have to. You can't just cruise through. Your tires got limits, and the car has limits. And
I think that was truly the biggest eye-opening thing for me, is just how much you use the brakes, and just it is all the way.
Again,
All
really
the way.
boring mod.
Yeah.
Really boring. You don't get to see it. All you do is you feel it when in stopping. Stopping doesn't sound fun, and you just want to go. But
go.
dude, truly, I think that's one of the
Sounds-
biggest underrated upgrades you can do.
Stopping sounds fun when there's a cement wall in front of you.
Yeah, when you're going to buck
Yes,
40,
it becomes important.
stopping's
I'd
real
like
cool.
to stop now.
100%. But that leads us to our next sponsor of MartiniWorks Podcast. We got Malco Automotive.
Yeah.
They make detailing stuff, and it's real good. Their cherry one smells so freaking good.
Yeah, they got a banana one too.
Oh, I haven't smelled the banana one.
Yeah, it's over there. You should go smell it.
I'll go take a
They got like
drink of it.
blueberry.
Don't drink it!
Don't eat the Malco stuff.
Even if it smells super good. But yeah, we've been using that around the shop for months now, trying out, because before we even brought them on for the podcast as a sponsor, like, we want to try this stuff out, see if we actually enjoy it. And we've been using it nonstop, and we use it on our personal vehicles, we use it on the shop vehicles, and we have a rack over there that we use all the time. We'll bring something to Riverside.
We will have it at Riverside. So if you're listening to this, you're going to be down at the show. We'll have a rack of it down there. If you forgot your microfibers or your quick detailer, we'll have it for you.
Yep, and it's awesome stuff. I've really enjoyed using Malco. So if you guys are interested, you can check that out over at MartiniWorks.com. All right, we got some breaking news going on in the automotive world. I'll open up here and see on Car and Driver. We have some not good news.
Oh.
That R34 GTR you've been saving up for, you're still never going to get it because they're going to get even more expensive.
I know.
How?
U.S. tariffs might make JDM imports more expensive.
Oh my God.
So currently, Japanese market trucks are already subjected to a 25% tariff, but ordinary passenger cars only get a 2.5% ding. But those importing expensive collectibles such as the R34 Nissan GTR could face tens of thousands in extra costs.
Oh my God.
So now your $200,000 car is going to be $250,000 car.
I hate it. I hate
That's
everything.
wild.
I hate it all. That's stupid.
That's insane. Did you guys see too? This is a little bit of news. I didn't watch the video on it, so I've only read the headlines.
Yep.
Randy from Eliminate, his Ferrari that he was importing back to the U.S. They canceled the import because it had traces of radiation in Japan.
Yep. Yeah, it got flagged at the port for radiation. So it basically, I was following his story. I didn't know if there was an update on it, and there might be by the time this comes out.
Yeah.
But it was come over, and they all get checked for like radiation or whatever, and it got flagged. So basically, they're like, yes, you need to take care of sending this back on your dime immediately.
He's already spent thousands to get it ready to ship here, and they're like, you have to spend thousands to like 10,000 in shipping it back.
I'm so interested in what happened. Like, was it? I wonder if it was near that disaster happened a few years back.
Fukushima.
Yeah.
So I would imagine, right, that like the container itself had like traces of radiation. I don't know how that works because I doubt it would be the car.
Yeah, that would be really
or
weird.
Like what was in it. So I would imagine that it would be the container itself. So yeah, I don't know if there was ever an update on that.
I want to know, like, how often is that happening? How many cars are being turned away because of radiation?
It must be enough that they check for it.
It's kind of funny. We gave our buddy Cody shit when we took the GTT to Beaver Dam. One of his questions was like, "Did you guys check this for radiation?" We're
it was a legit question.
Yeah. That could have been canceled. I wonder if that's happened. Like, if you buy a car from auction. Do they check at auction before it goes to auction? Like, this is radiation free?
Yeah. I don't know how common of a thing that is, but
crazy.
It's clearly happening.
That should be a service we pitched.
Dude,
If it ain't tariffs, it's radiation. Just no more cars from Japan. You got to get them all here. Sorry, guys.
That is a nightmare thing to have to deal with.
I can't imagine. I don't even know how you go about doing anything with that now.
No. What do you do?
Sell it in Japan, I guess.
Oh my God.
Yeah, get rid of it. What other breaking news we got?
I got breaking news. 2026 Corvette facelift. Goodbye to the wall of buttons.
Hey, nice.
An
Wait.
interior
The like from center console.
Yeah, so like the whole thing that we were like always end up talking about on this podcast.
I really like that.
I know. So I'm kind of torn with it. So apparently, for whatever reason, the C8 Corvette's getting another facelift. I feel like it gets a facelift every 4 months.
Are you that
something.
surprised?
I don't know.
They've been doing this with the Corvette for
so they
years,
can sell
brother.
more special editions.
So they have like the test version of it up doing the testing in like Michigan or something like that. And of course, like people are out there like spying on stuff. Someone got some like photos kind of the interior, and that's gone.
Well, I'm for it.
Not there.
I didn't like it. I never really was
Yeah.
a big fan of it.
So the kind of community is torn on it. They're like, cool. Wasn't a huge fan of it. Was kind of weird. Just hope that doesn't means that everything gets replaced by a touchscreen.
Yeah, that's
the thing. As long as there's more,
They gotta go somewhere.
in my experience, dude. GM makes shit touch.
Dude, they are so bad.
Every experience
They
I've had
have
just
been
bad.
the worst.
The thing about that specific button wall, though, is I feel like they added more buttons just to fill in the space.
There was
no
a
need
button
all
for a lot of random stuff,
Yeah.
and then it was like only half of it was really like useful.
that. Yeah. So I never liked it. I don't think I could live with it.
Yeah.
You have to like lift your arm to like get to the cups. Like if you have a bottle or something in your cup holder, you can't just like move your arm over.
I liked that it gave kind of like that cockpit feel.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it was just weird. I remember like sitting in it for the first time we went to the Chicago Auto Show, and like it was like right when they were coming out, and I was like, oh, that's new Corvette. And they're like, yeah, it comes in. And I was like, what in the fuck is this?
It just seemed like one of those things that because we sat in that Corvette driving school we did in Nevada, and when I first got in, I was like, this is cool. And then as like the weekend progressed, I was like, I don't think I could live with this.
Okay.
It's like cool to try it.
Yeah.
I got used to it. I figured out like where everything was at, and I liked it.
Interesting.
The thing is, like, I agree. I like the like cockpit feel of it. I think that's neat, but that makes it feel so forced.
Yeah.
It's like it's not a cockpit. I'm fucking rolling my window down on the 15th switch. Like, it's not like you're flipping through your fucking missiles you're launching. You're fucking trying to get your heat to turn up a little bit. Or
Positive thinking. Maybe there's room to put a gear knob now. Manual transmission.
Ooh, probably not.
Oh, no, that'd be sick.
That would be dope. That would be dope. I just the manuals are dying. They are getting turned down.
Unfortunately, the C7s were like the last hurrah for the Corvette, I guess, for that.
At least it's not.
News.
Oh, what do you got?
Brent's got news.
Oh, news.
Lamborghini has introduced a new vehicle, you could say, into their lineup. It's a baby stroller, and it's $5,500.
Oh my God, they've been making weird side
it
quests for a
fast?
while now.
I'm kind of surprised. I honestly I feel like baby strollers are insanely expensive. $5,500 for Lamborghini baby stroller doesn't even sound that bad. Maybe
I know
I'm
that's.
too
I was
brain
expecting
rotted.
it was going to be like $20,000 or some just ridiculous shit. It's like it fits perfectly in the back of the Urus, which I saw a Urus drive by my house the other day. I was like, why the fuck is that in Appleton, Wisconsin?
I don't know.
Something weird like that. I do kind of like if that was the case, like, oh, it's meant to fit like specifically like the Moto Compacto from like Honda, I think is like such a cool fucking thing. So it's like I'm for that shit. I love that.
Yeah, I like it.
Speaking of Lamborghini, they unveiled an e-SUV recently. I don't know if you guys have seen that.
No.
You should look it up. It looks like Lamborghini made an electric SUV in all the right and all the worst ways.
Oh god,
Like you see it and it looks like a giant fish, but it's huge.
is that what it's called? Like ESUV or like what?
I forget the actual name for it. I just saw it on.
See if
on
Brent
one
can
of
I
the-
am curious to see where these hypercar performance brands go with EVs because it's like it can't be comparable to like the Tesla Plaid. I mean, that's not considered a hypercar. So if you're making a hypercar, it's got to like outperform that stuff, right? Like it's got to be insane. That's the whole appeal of it.
I think the answer comes in like because what makes a supercar, right? If you look back historically, right, what made a supercar was mid-engine, all that stuff. But it was really more about how does that thing make you feel, right? Like you feel cool driving a supercar. Like you can't get in a Ferrari and even just start it up without feeling like a badass, right?
Yeah.
But electric cars are inherently boring. I get the whole launching it as a blast. Right?
I feel like they focus more on like the luxury side of it.
Yeah. So like, not to be that guy, right? But BMW with the Neue Klasse M car that they're making, the full electric one, like you hear them talk about it, and the engineers aren't saying like speed. They're not talking about 0 to 60 times. They're talking about the sensation of torque. And that has me really excited for it. And I think that's the future that Ferrari and Lamborghini especially should be focusing on. What goofy noises can you make an electric motor make as it's launching you into space?
Well, that's what I'm going to see because like I'm so curious to see how they differentiate their electric from other electric.
Right.
It seems like it's just all the same stuff. Like how do you make that different, you know?
What make the
Other
Hyundai,
battery.
that Ioniq so special, I think, was they made like the goofy like drift modes and the track modes, right? Like they're fun to drive.
It also has like replicated gears and a rev limiter and stuff too.
Yeah.
And so it kind of feels like you're driving.
It has gears?
transmission, or at least a DCT.
I have an
Yeah.
even easier solution for all this.
Okay.
Keep the fucking gas engine in it.
Yeah, okay, boomer.
All right, boomer. Off the bed, gels.
I'm not saying I disagree, but like you can't deny that it's just the future.
I know it's just weird. It's weird that they like keep trying to simulate it
Because that's what's good.
They
They got to find their own good thing,
It's-
though.
it's
I think
so
Lars
weird.
is on it. What he's talking about with that torque sensation. You can't get that out of a gas vehicle,
Right.
but it'll also be like as they increase that, man, tire technology, suspension technology
all
is going to
gotta
have to
change.
follow with it because they're getting insane.
But once they solve it on the big car, like everything else right, in technology in the car world, once they solve it in Lamborghini or Ferrari or Porsche, right, like with the Taycan, Like when Porsche, right, as example, when they make a Cayman that's electric, right, that's an exciting one. That car might be, $50,000 instead of 100. That car may have, the equivalent of 300 and 400 horsepower instead of 1,000. Nobody needs that shit. But, making a Miata-sized car electric, that sounds fun. That's what I want. I want 500 miles and, the equivalent of 300 horsepower in a car the size of a Miata. Then I'm on board.
That's not 8 million pounds.
Yeah.
Exactly. Once you start shedding weight too, that make it lose traction, not just do a perfect launch every time. Let me do the perfect launch, then we'll talk.
Interesting.
I mean, I love all like the hybrid stuff that has like come out with that. Like the NSX, I think is like a perfect example of that. Like that car felt incredible when we drove it.
That felt different.
Yeah. And that was like its own unique thing. I'm all for that. It just there's something that's just kind of weird to me. It's like the advancements for EV is making it more like an internal combustion car. Like that's just weird.
They're like, how can we make it like the old thing?
It's like keep the old thing.
You're right. That's what we're saying, right? It needs to find its own path. It needs to do its own thing, because getting in it and hearing fake engine noises
That's not
and
it.
fake shifting is not appealing to me whatsoever. I'm curious to see even how the general public reacts to that.
I have heard from many different sources that like the most fun EV anybody's driven is the new Hyundai Ioniq, whatever,
Really?
with the gears and with that fake stuff,
Big
because it makes it a
Hyundai
little bit more entertaining and interesting,
Yeah.
rather than just having like one gear. You can go through it and it makes it a little bit more involving. You get to control your wheel speed a little bit more.
But why would you choose that over a gas car then? If you're enjoying the parts of a normal gas, why wouldn't you just get a gas one?
I'm hoping maybe this year we'll get to try some out and like we'll have a more educated opinion on them.
I
would
changed
like
my
the
mind.
Teslas.
Like
We did get an Uber driver once to floor it in his Tesla, and we were like, "Dang, okay."
that part's a blast. But the problem with Teslas is they make it so easy. It's the same reason you like manual more than an automatic, right? Yes, the automatic's faster now, but I want the fun of it. So again, if you can inject the skill back into launching an electric car, maybe it'd be more fun.
I think I'm still just gonna keep playing with the gas ones for now.
yeah.
Fair.
Maybe a diesel.
Diesels are great.
Yeah. But not electric. I'm not there yet. I have thought about it though. I won't lie. I have thought about it like as a daily driver, just to get to work a bit.
Yes.
The tool aspect of a vehicle, which is hard for us because we make all of them not a tool and want to make it fun. But I get it. It would be cool to not do oil changes and pay for gas. I'm not against that. Like shit's expensive, especially dude. My Jetta, that fucking thing's sucking gas so damn hard. My God.
You have to trade off the getting stuck in the cold and maybe setting your house on fire.
Yeah, that's there's a couple of quirks they're working out with it. I don't know. I still, again, I couldn't do it. I do like that you still can modify an EV. If you pick up a Tesla or something, fucking lower it and put wheels on it and stuff. That's appealing at least. But there's no tunability. And I think the most fun part of a car for me is that transformation. And even if it's not like you put a bigger turbo on, but just literally putting bolt-ons on a tune and feeling like, oh, I did this. Now it fucking goes. Like that is what hooked me on modifying cars and stuff. So if I don't have that ability, it is just becoming a tool, and then that's boring.
Yeah.
Somehow we always get roped into electric stuff, but
I mean,
it's
I think you
what's
have
new
because it's like
that's what's happening.
There's news about it every single day, and it's either advancing or regressing every single day. Like there's either like really good news about it or really really bad news about it, and it's kind of the wild west out there for the whole EV stuff.
The big thing that I'm very hopeful for is that they keep giving us choices.
Yes.
Right. And certain car companies are going about it the right way, like Hyundai as an example, right? They give us the choice. Like keep making the cool cars that you make now that are gas powered, and then make a good electric car. Like why can't you just do that? And then we'll buy what we like.
Yeah.
Everybody 100%. Thought, by 2025 everybody was going to have an electric car. That just didn't happen because the reality is most of us don't care. We just want what's easy and what we know works. And then when something cool comes along, maybe we'll be interested. But the idea that everybody was going to magically adopt it at a certain year was never going to happen.
Yeah.
So now even the manufacturers are dialing way back on that stuff because they're overbuilding them. So we'll see what happens. Choice is good.
Well, we're going to be at Riverside here pretty much at the time this is up.
Yep.
What do you guys think we're going to see? What are the trends for 2025? Last time we did this, we were pretty accurate about it. We said the lowrider scene was going to start bleeding into just normal aftermarket car mods in the sense of people are going to start doing more of that detailed painted, and we've seen that it started off with like the engine based stuff, right? Like doing parts,
moved to like the laced roofs.
Yep. And then now I've started to see like more of the full car pull that in. So is there another automotive community that you guys think isn't really tapped into yet, or could bleed into like the regular modified community?
Donks.
I was gonna say, do you think like high risers are gonna make like some sort of weird like come back into like the general automotive?
A lot of that is paint or big wheels.
Yeah.
Like that I feel
the
like
big wheel thing.
Yeah. Do you,
Yeah.
I mean, sizes keep getting bigger for factory vehicles.
Dude, it's like you can't. It's hard to not see one of those cars like a high riser or an actual donk or something like that, and just be like, "Damn, respect!" Because how the fuck?
There's a lot of work that does go into that.
Yes,
It's not
Quality ones, like
yeah.
with everything else,
Yeah.
the good ones.
Yeah, the good one. There's some phenomenal builds out there. I could see that. I don't think we're there yet. I don't think that's yet. That's not a this year thing. I don't think.
I think the next big community that will make us showing are like the crossover SUVs.
Yes.
Like honestly, because
we started to see that at Gatlinburg too.
yeah, because 15 years ago, and so on, it was like the sedans that started coming in, replacing the coupes, and because that was their only car, right? You modify what you have.
Yep.
And I think nowadays the world is full of crossovers and cool ones, boring ones, whatever that is, but modified like to their taste.
I think you nailed it. I think that's really, I'm excited to see what happens. Like, are we going to start going to shows and it's like almost 50-50 between cars and SUVs? Because like, I was even surprised how many were at Gatlinburg in like the main spots. You got booths representing with SUVs.
Right.
I'm not saying it's wrong or right, but it's definitely a change from a few years ago.
Right.
And-
Go ahead.
Oh, I was saying, and it could be both lifted with like that overland style, or it could be slammed, like we've seen Macans and
Yeah, we were seeing a lot of
Tiguan's,
slam stuff.
Tuaregs and stuff. I think either way.
I think seeing some of the stuff come out from like Tokyo Auto Salon this year when Alex and the crew were over there. I don't know if it'll be this year, and it might not even happen at all, but I kind of like have a soft spot, and I would love to see it happen a little bit more stateside, would be like the Bosuzoku stuff. I think it was at Liberty Walk that like had that kit on. It was like an
styling.
R32.
Yeah, I think it was R32.
That it wasn't like full Bosuzoku, but it was like you could tell it was like inspired by that. Like it had like the chin.
I think there was a name for it.
Yeah.
That was specific, but yeah, it's that style where it has that the insane arrow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like
built into
the
it.
body lines were just like really exaggerated. I feel like that kind of stuff is.
I could
is
see
super
that
sick.
bleeding over, and kind of like how we talked about the lowrider stuff,
It's
where it was
just, like,
starting the engine bay.
parts.
Maybe you're starting to see splitters get a little bit bigger, more angular, pointed, and rather than like the carbon fiber APR one you drill into the bumper, it's actual like your bumper's modified
Right.
and comes out a bit more. I could see that
And
starting.
I feel like it already had kind of started, like the whole like blast pipe and like crazy exhaust tip
Yep,
stuff. That
was one portion of
adapted-
it.
That adapted relatively quick.
Maybe the giant wings and splitters, like you're talking about, will kind of replace that wide body scene.
Yeah.
We've seen wide bodies kind of fall away a little bit.
Yeah.
And like the narrow body cars are coming
Yeah.
back. Maybe they'll stretch the other direction now.
And I think it's like kind of it was the whole battle arrow like era. Everyone was putting like the huge arrow pieces, canards, wings, chassis mount splitters, and it's like you look at those cars and like how that arrow is, it's a bit different because it's like these are like I said, it's kind of taking those actual body lines of the car and like squaring them off and like exaggerating the whole panel instead of just slapping like a plywood splitter on
and
it.
this has been popular, I'd say, for a few years, but I feel like it keeps gaining popularity. Is like OEM plus builds.
100%, yeah.
Or like period correct builds. I see that being really popular.
yeah.
Yeah, especially with like the cars that we knew growing up. Like, dude, it was. We went to VIR for Japan Auto Legends for driver that time, and it was like the Civic hatches. That are the guys are hunting down like original like Mugen parts.
Yeah.
and
Paying a lot of money.
insane amount of money for this, and it's like, dude, that's a whole like kind of like underground like community of that stuff, and it's like huge.
Yeah.
100%. I know probably the number one trend though. everyone's going to be doing it is putting Continental tires on their
absolutely.
vehicles.
Hope so.
Every single one. So Conti going to be huge in 2025. They've been huge forever. Continental is older than Colorado, just so you know. They've been around for a
Is that
minute.
a real stat?
Yeah, it is.
That's crazy.
And yeah, they're old. All right, so they know what they're doing with their rubbers. That's why we love Continental. They have a tire for every scenario, and we love using them. ECS Sporto 2. One of my favorite tires of all time. Great for your performance cars. If you have a daily driver, that's still kind of your, fun car too. DWS 06 Plus, more universal. You're going to be able to drive anywhere you want. And then Continental does it almost better than anyone else in wet performance. So if it's going to rain, you don't have to worry about them. They handle so good in the wet. It's mind blowing. So they do a great job of that. And they're one of the sponsors of MartiniWorks Podcast.
Just one?
I think my tongue's getting dry from talking so much. The MartiniWorks Podcast. So if you guys are interested in Contis, or if you want us to help you pick out a set for your car, we can totally do that. Hit us up over at MartiniWorks.com. Otherwise, just scroll through the beautiful website until you find what you need. Huge shout out and thank you for Lars coming on the podcast. We
Thanks for
appreciate
having
it,
me.
man.
I love being here. Thank you.
Yeah, and we'll see that M5 on the track soon. We're excited. You'll have to come back on and report back on how it did.
If I survive.
You'll survive. It's got good brakes.
And good tires.
All right, we'll talk to you guys later. Peace.